temperature might be getting pretty cool outside, but that means one thing in Kansas City. We're getting ready for spring training and baseball, and it all starts with the annual Fan Fest. And when you come here down to Fan Fest at Bartle Hall, make sure you stop by the University of Kansas Health System's booth and take a nice picture right here, rally on the boys in blue, get all that mosaic stuff for your files and stuff. But if you're a golfer, I know you're thinking about the springtime, and Ryan Sloop's going to talk about how you can perfect your golf swing.
So at the Performance Center, we use this piece of technology. It's called the K-Vest. There's a lot of things we can do with this. We can analyze someone's swing, and we can look for movement restrictions in their body and give them recommendations on how to improve that. So when the time comes in the season, they're a more complete athlete and they know how to swing the club better, and they're less likely to be injured. We can also use this for biofeedback drills. So I'll give you a short little demonstration here. And you can see the little avatar back here, and when I move these sensors, he moves along with me, and we can do these biofeedback drills to kind of get that muscle memory to train those movements so it becomes ingrained in their patterns.
And you know, we're talking baseball here because it's Fan Fest, and the baseball swing, the golf swing. What are some of the similarities in those two swings and some of the differences for that matter?
Well, they're both highly dynamic swings that put a lot of stress on the body that people don't think about. So you have to have a good base of strength, and they're both rotational sports. So there's a lot of crossover between golf and baseball, and this actually has a baseball function as well. So we can treat golfers and baseball athletes.
And I'm just curious because I don't play much golf, but I've swung a baseball bat a lot. Are you using more lower body in a golf swing than in a baseball swing, or what's the dynamic in that?
That's actually a great question, and a lot of people don't understand you use the lower body in the baseball swing just as much in the golf swing as well. People tend to think it's an upper body swing, but really your force comes from the ground up. So that's what we're training with this, is to use the entire body and use it in an efficient manner.
Ryan Sloop with all the answers, of course. He can get you straight and squared away, but there's plenty more to take a look at around the booth. So let's look and see what some of the other things you can check out around our booth are. Well, as the old saying goes, 3 strikes and you're out. So you can come over here and showcase your arm strength just like this young lady here who's going to be a pitcher in the big leagues probably one day. But once you take your pictures here on the big wall, we want you to come over here because you got a great opportunity. That's right, we're giving stuff away, free stuff. How about it? And not just free stuff. Salvador Perez just became an American citizen here. You're going to get an autographed bat or an Alberto Mondesi signed bat. All you have to do is share those photos, go to #KUSportsMed, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram @KUSportsMed. We want to see those photos because, after all, you have an opportunity to win some great stuff and get a chance to get some great interactive games going on here. This guy is super busy, but I wonder if he's ever been on TV. He's feeling the pressure right now. He's getting some great pitching in, hitting his spots. Got to ask him, how's that arm feel, buddy?
Good.
You heard it right here. The arm's feeling good, and he's throwing strikes left and right. He's throwing sliders, fastballs, but most importantly, he's throwing strikes. He's got a cutter. I'm looking at the screen here. You can get that interactive opportunity right here at the University of Kansas Health System's booth, and make sure that you come and stop by and say hello. We're glad to see you as always. Take those pictures and make sure you send them to us on Twitter and all your social media platforms. So as we get ready for the baseball season, the baseball players, the Royals especially, are getting in shape. They're getting in training and getting ready for the upcoming season. And you know who takes care of those guys is our buddy Dr. Vincent Key. And Dr. Key, what are these guys doing right now to get in shape, to get in conditioning before the start of spring training?
Well, a lot of our pitchers actually started throwing in mid-December. And so they got to get their arms ready. We call it adaptation. So from the middle of December to probably when they have to report on February 12th, you know, they're starting to play catch. They're starting to get their arms. They'll probably get on the mound. Some of them are getting on the mound now and throwing what we call bullpens, kind of simulated throws and trying to get themselves ready to go for the season. Our guys that are position players, well, you know, they get in the cage, they bat, they're starting to field, they're starting to throw a little bit. Again, getting themselves ready, stretching, making sure their tissue is right as well.
You know, things are so much different nowadays than they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. Guys are staying in shape all year round, and they're not really going to spring training trying to necessarily get into shape. That's got to make you feel a lot better about keeping these guys healthy when they're taking it upon themselves to be healthy in the offseason.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we talk about prehab so we don't have to rehab. So that's the big thing, is getting their bodies ready to compete. And competing at this high level, you have to have your body ready. And it's a long season. It's the longest season in any professional sport. That these guys are going to do 162 games, you know, and then even before then, they're doing maybe 20, you know, spring training games. And then, hey, if you're lucky enough to get into the playoffs, you got more games on top of that, and then going into the World Series. That's why in 14 and 15, we almost played a whole nother season just with spring training and getting into the playoffs and into the World Series.
You know, it's not just these professional athletes, high school kids, middle school kids. They're starting to do their off-season conditioning. What can they do to stay healthy? Because a lot of these kids are still growing, and you want to protect those arms, those rotator cuffs and things.
Absolutely. I mean, I hate seeing kids come in my office. I mean, a lot of times, and some of the stuff, honestly, a lot of stuff is preventable just by knowledge. So my high school kids, I know that they'll be doing their workouts, well, not workouts, but getting ready for the season, their tryouts, usually the first week in March is that when they have their tryouts. So I tell them backdate it 8 weeks. So that gets them pretty much the beginning of January, sometimes late December, and getting their arms ready. Same way with my other guys. They start playing a little catch. They start stretching. Stretching is really a big thing for me. Not a lot of kids stretch, and I'm talking about stretching their shoulder, stretching, working on the shoulder blades, stretching their hamstrings and all that other stuff. And so those kids get ready the same way the big league guys or the professional guys get ready. It's no different, really, that they should start playing catch and start to throw a bullpen maybe in February, something like that. Again, my position players, they can start hitting, they can start stretching and all that, because unfortunately, we're in the Midwest, it's cold. And so when a kid gets hurt, especially a pitcher gets hurt, and I have to shut them down, it's not a matter of shutting them down 1 to 3 weeks and everything's good. When I shut them down for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it takes another 2 to 3 weeks to get them up and ready to compete. So that's 4 to 6 weeks. Their season's halfway over. So it's more important for those kids to prehab, because the consequences of them not prehabbing are much larger because the season's so much shorter than the professional guys.
You know, it's not just baseball either, because you've got those sports that use the rotator cuff, volleyball, tennis, and things like that. What can those athletes do? And I know there's a great arm program out at the Performance Center. What can they do to start strengthening their arms for those sports?
I tell you, it's tremendous. Kyle Veazey, Jess Upa, there's a lot of folks out there who can really help these kids and get them on the right track. Again, it's just introducing them to these things. It's not, I mean, this stuff isn't rocket science, but if you don't know, you don't know. And so, especially for our volleyball players, I mean, I took care of a first team All-American volleyball player this year with shoulder issues. I mean, so you get the volleyball players, you get the softball players, you get the baseball players, even tennis players get it. One of our minor league docs, Ben Kibler in Lexington, he's the team physician for U.S. Tennis, and he'll say the same thing. Tennis athletes get the same shoulder issues at times as pitchers and volleyball players. The other one would be swimmers, especially your butterflyers, your breaststrokers. Well, not really your breaststrokers, but doing your backstroke and things of that nature. So those that use their arms a lot can really benefit from our arm care program. And it's simple. It's not that hard, but again, you just have to know about it.
You know, this organization is building from the ground up, and I know you recently went and checked on some of the guys in the Dominican and getting them prepared and getting them ready. Just what does this staff do in order to get all the players, not just the big league players, but the guys who start in the Latin American countries, the guys in the low A ball that come all the way through the season?
Well, eventually those kids, even in the Dominican, become some of our major league players. And in our academy there, we had guys like Giordano Ventura, Salvador Perez was down there for a minute, Kelvin Herrera. We've had a lot of kids come out of that program that not all of them make it up to the major league. Some of them make it to single A, double A, triple A. But again, when I was just down there yesterday, as a matter of fact, came back yesterday, is that we're doing the same thing, indoctrinating those kids with the same protocol that our other guys use. So once they start getting up to that level, they know how to prehab, they know how to get their bodies ready, and they significantly decrease their risk of injury. Because we want them on the field. I don't want them in the training room. I don't want them to be flying to Kansas City to see me. I want to see them, I tell them all the time, I want to see you in Kansas City once you make the big league club. So again, we start out, even down there in the Dominican, we had 90 physicals that we did down there. Now, some of those kids are going to come to spring training and compete for some of our other spots. But again, it's a system-wide indoctrination in the stuff that we're trying to give them.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch these Royals compete this year. Spring training, let's do it. Let's talk a little bit more spring training in a couple of weeks here.
Oh, we're going to do that.
Right.
We're going to do that.
So
Absolutely.
for Dr. Key, I'm D. Jackson. That's going to do it from FanFest, guys. Come on down, visit our booth. Hashtag win those bats if you want them. And it's going to be a fabulous year. I want to tell everybody, go Royals.